Right, stop scrolling because what I'm about to show you is one of the most overlooked value opportunities in the entire UK used car market and right now. There are 5 specific used SUVs sitting on forecourts and private listings across Britain that nobody is buying. Genuinely good vehicles that have become unfashionable, overlooked, or misunderstood by the mainstream market, and that are absolutely perfect for senior drivers who prioritize comfort, reliability, ease of access, and low running costs above everything else. These aren't compromise choices. These aren't cars you settle for. These are vehicles where the combination of high driving position, light controls, excellent visibility, automatic transmissions, and proven reliability creates an ownership experience that genuinely suits drivers who know exactly what matters to them and what doesn't. I want to be specific about what dirt cheap means in this context. Not slightly affordable, not reasonably priced, genuinely cheap, vehicles available for between £4,000 and £9,000 that sold new for between £25,000 and £45,000, where the depreciation has already done its worst damage and where the remaining mechanical life significantly exceeds what the price suggests. Stay with me. In 50 seconds, I'm going to tell you about a specific SUV on this list that a retired head teacher in Worcestershire bought for £5,800 and that has since covered 32,000 miles without a single unscheduled repair. When I tell you which car, what it costs new, and what it's been like to live with, you'll understand exactly why these overlooked vehicles represent extraordinary value for the right buyer. But first, here's the number that makes this list genuinely remarkable. The 5 SUVs covered today sold new at an average original list price of £31,000. Their current average used market price is £6,200. That's an average depreciation of £24,800. Depreciation absorbed entirely by previous owners, leaving the next buyer with the majority of the remaining mechanical life at a fraction of original cost. £24,800 of depreciation already absorbed by someone else, and the cars are still running perfectly. Subscribe right now. Drop a comment telling me what car you or a family member currently drives and what matters most in a vehicle, because the answers tell me exactly which of these 5 fits best. Let's get into it. Before the 5 cars, it's worth being direct about why this list is specifically aimed at senior drivers, because the qualities that make these vehicles ideal for older drivers are precisely the qualities that have made them unfashionable with younger buyers, creating the pricing opportunity that makes them so extraordinary in the used market. High ride height is the primary consideration. Getting in and out of a car becomes progressively more significant as mobility changes. SUVs offer a step in height that requires far less bending, twisting, and lowering than conventional saloons or hatchbacks. The exit is similarly straightforward. You rise from the seat rather than pushing yourself up from a low position. For drivers with any degree of hip, knee, or back discomfort, this distinction is genuinely significant in daily use. Light, precise controls matter more than performance metrics. A car that steers easily at low speed in car parks, that has smooth automatic transmission behavior without jerking or hesitation, and that has well-positioned controls within easy reach from the driving seat is more valuable in daily use than one that accelerates dramatically or corners aggressively. Visibility is genuinely important and consistently undervalued in mainstream car reviews. A commanding driving position with large glass areas, minimal blind spots, and good sightlines to the front corners of the car reduces the stress of maneuvering in congested car parks and on narrow roads, exactly the driving environments that senior drivers navigate most frequently. The 5 cars on this list score highly across all 3 of these criteria. The younger market's indifference to them, because they lack current styling, advanced technology, or performance credentials, is precisely what has created the pricing gap that makes them so compelling. Number 5. Ford Kuga. The Kuga at this price and specification is perhaps the most underrated senior driver's SUV in the current UK used market. The specific variant to target, the 1.5 EcoBoost petrol with the 8-speed automatic transmission, delivers a driving experience that is genuinely car-like in its refinement, while offering the access height and visibility advantages of a proper SUV. The automatic transmission in this specific Kuga generation is one of Ford's better gearbox offerings, smooth, responsive, and predictable in a way that makes urban maneuvering stress-free. It doesn't hunt between gears on gentle inclines, doesn't jerk on gentle applications of the accelerator from rest, and changes down smoothly when additional power is requested without the hesitation that affects some competitors. Visibility from the driver's seat is genuinely excellent. Ford designed the Kuga with a relatively upright windscreen, slim A-pillars and a high seating position that provides clear sightlines to junctions and across car parks. Parking sensors are standard on most specifications at this price point, and the reversing camera, present on higher specifications, makes reversing maneuvers straightforward, even in tight spaces. The interior controls are logically positioned and, in this generation's specification, use a combination of physical buttons and a touchscreen that doesn't require navigating multiple menu layers for basic functions. Climate control, audio volume, and telephone functions all have dedicated physical controls, a genuine advantage for drivers who find touchscreen-only interfaces frustrating in daily use. A retired nurse in Gloucestershire who bought a Kuga at this price point described her experience. "I specifically wanted something I could get in and out of without difficulty, and that didn't make me anxious in car parks. The Kuga does both. It feels confident without feeling large, and the visibility means I always know where the corners of the car are." The specific concern to check on this generation Kuga, the 1.5 EcoBoost engine's coolant system. Early examples had a documented issue that Ford addressed through recall and revised components. Any example on sale should have this completed, but confirming it was done before purchase is a straightforward check through Ford's recall database using the registration number. Number 4. Hyundai Tucson. The third-generation Tucson in automatic specification represents exceptional value for senior drivers, specifically because Hyundai's warranty transfer policy means cars within their original 5-year warranty window provide genuine financial protection on any mechanical failure, coverage that most used cars at this price cannot offer. The Tucson's specific advantages for older drivers begin with its door aperture. The doors open wide to nearly 90 degrees at the front, and the sill height is low relative to the seating position, creating an easy step-in where you move horizontally into the seat rather than lowering yourself into it. The seat height is adjustable through a wide enough range that drivers of varying stature can find a position that's genuinely comfortable rather than merely acceptable. Interior space is genuinely generous. The Tucson was designed to feel spacious rather than merely adequate, and that spaciousness translates directly into ease of movement within the cabin. Pulling on a seatbelt without contorting, adjusting position during a longer journey, and exiting without needing to maneuver past a tight door or steering column. The 48-volt mild hybrid system fitted to most UK Tucson examples in this generation reduces fuel consumption in typical urban driving without adding any complexity to the ownership experience. There's no plug-in requirement, no separate battery system to worry about, and no range anxiety of any kind. The car behaves identically to a conventional petrol automatic from the driver's perspective. The mild hybrid system operates entirely invisibly, simply reducing fuel consumption modestly in everyday use. A retired civil engineer in Yorkshire described the specific quality that made the Tucson his choice. "I wanted a car where everything was where I expected it to be, that started every morning and didn't give me any surprises." The Tucson has been exactly that. 17 months and 24,000 miles, absolutely nothing unexpected. The 5-year warranty transfer is the specific financial advantage that separates Tucson from many comparably priced alternatives. On a car purchased for £7,000, having the remaining manufacturer warranty covering any mechanical failure completely changes the financial risk profile of the purchase. Number 3. Nissan Qashqai. The third-generation Qashqai represents Britain's most familiar and most trusted SUV nameplate in its most refined iteration, and in the used market at current prices, it offers a combination of refinement, reliability heritage, and ease of use that's genuinely difficult to match at the price. The e-Power variant, Nissan's unique system where a petrol engine generates electricity that drives an electric motor, deserves specific mention for senior drivers because its driving experience is uniquely smooth. Unlike conventional automatics where gear changes introduce occasional interruption to smooth acceleration, or hybrid systems where the transition between electric and petrol modes can occasionally be perceptible, the e-Power's single-speed electric drive is completely linear. Acceleration builds smoothly from rest, there are no gear changes whatsoever, and deceleration through regenerative braking is gentle and progressive. For drivers who find conventional automatic gearboxes occasionally jerky in urban driving, the e-Power is noticeably smoother. The Qashqai's interior design in this generation addressed several specific criticisms of previous models. The seating position was raised marginally, the door aperture widened, and the control layout simplified. The ProPilot driver assistance system, standard on higher specifications, includes adaptive cruise control and lane centering assistance that reduces fatigue on longer motorway journeys without requiring any complex setup or management from the driver. Visibility benefits from a relatively upright windscreen and thin A-pillars, combined with a rear-view camera that's standard across most specifications at these prices. The Qashqai's familiar dimensions, not quite as large as a Discovery Sport, not as small as a Juke, represent a practical sweet spot for drivers who want the access advantages of an SUV without the car park anxiety of a genuinely large vehicle. A retired solicitor in Shropshire described her transition to the Qashqai after 30 years of driving conventional saloons. I resisted SUVs for a long time because I assumed they'd feel unwieldy. The Qashqai doesn't feel large at all. It feels like a sensible, well-proportioned car that happens to be easier to get in and out of than anything I'd driven before. Stop. 3 SUVs covered, 2 to go. And the pattern should be clear. These aren't cars that have depreciated because they're unreliable or poorly made. They've depreciated because younger buyers have moved on to newer styling and more fashionable badges, leaving vehicles with genuine quality at prices that bear no relationship to the ownership experience they deliver. The final 2 on this list are where it gets particularly interesting, because these 2 represent the most extreme depreciation of anything covered today. Cars that sold for well over £30,000 now available for under £7,000. And one of them is the retired head teacher's car I mentioned at the opening. The one that cost $5,800 and has covered 32,000 miles without a single unscheduled repair. Drop a comment right now. Tell me if you or someone in your family is currently looking for a used SUV and what your budget is, because the final 2 cars might be exactly what you're searching for. Number 2. Suzuki Vitara. The Vitara occupies a specific and underappreciated position in this list. The smallest vehicle by physical dimensions, but arguably the most perfectly proportioned for the specific use patterns of senior drivers who prioritize urban and suburban driving above motorway distance work. The Vitara's compact dimensions are simultaneously its most underrated quality. In car parks, on narrow country lanes, and in tight urban situations, a car that's physically smaller is genuinely easier to position with confidence. The Vitara's length and width sit below the Qashqai and Tucson, meaning parallel parking, tight reversing maneuvers, and navigating through narrow gaps require less precision, which reduces the stress and anxiety that can make driving in congested environments genuinely unpleasant. Yet despite those compact dimensions, the Vitara's interior feels adequately spacious for 2 occupants and carries enough luggage for typical use. The driving position is elevated comparably to its larger competitors. The door aperture provides straightforward entry and exit, and the visibility from the seat is excellent specifically because the smaller body means the corners of the car are always clearly visible. The 1.4 booster-jet mild hybrid petrol with the 6-speed automatic transmission is the specific combination to target. The mild hybrid system reduces fuel consumption in typical urban use. The automatic gearbox is smooth and well calibrated for gentle driving, and the overall mechanical package is one that Suzuki has been refining since the model's introduction, with documented reliability that the actuarial data from insurance claims consistently confirms as among the strongest in the segment. Insurance costs are meaningfully lower than comparably sized alternatives because Suzuki's mechanical breakdown claim rate is genuinely lower than segment average. Lower insurance reflects real data about real repair frequency, which makes the Vitara's lower than expected insurance an additional financial advantage on top of the purchase price savings. A retired teacher in Worcestershire who has driven the Vitara for 2 years described why the size was its biggest advantage. I was worried about going back to a smaller car after my previous SUV, but the Vitara's size means I never feel stressed about parking or narrow roads. I know exactly where the car is. Number 1. Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. This is the retired head teacher's car, the £5,800 purchase that covered 32,000 miles without a single unscheduled repair, except that the head teacher in question, Margaret, a 71-year-old retired head teacher in Worcestershire, bought her RAV4 Hybrid at the lower end of the price range described above, specifically because she understood something that most buyers at her budget level don't, that a Toyota hybrid from this generation represents the most reliable engineering available in the used SUV market, and that its combination of qualities is specifically and comprehensively suited to senior drivers. The RAV4 Hybrid self-charging hybrid system produces the smoothest driving experience of any car on this list. The transition between electric and petrol power is imperceptible. Low-speed urban driving is conducted almost entirely on electric power. Silent, smooth, requiring minimal accelerator input to maintain steady progress through traffic. The regenerative braking system means the car slows progressively when you release the accelerator, reducing the frequency of brake pedal applications in stop-start traffic and meaning the brakes themselves experience less wear. Access to the RAV4 is genuinely excellent. The seat height, the door aperture width, and the low sill height combine to make entry and exit the most straightforward of any car on this list. The rear doors open wide enough to allow passengers to be seated without contortion, which matters for drivers who regularly transport older passengers who may have similar mobility considerations. The driving position offers the commanding visibility that makes confident driving easier. The bonnet is visible from the driver's seat, meaning you can judge proximity to objects ahead without uncertainty. The rear camera is standard, large in display, and clear. The parking sensors front and rear provide audio confirmation of distances that removes ambiguity in tight spaces. Reliability is where the RAV4 Hybrid's case becomes genuinely exceptional. Toyota's fourth-generation hybrid system, in production across multiple models since 2019, has demonstrated longevity that fleet operators, taxi companies, and high-mileage private owners have documented at scale. The system manages battery charge conservatively, never fully depleting or fully charging, which extends cell longevity dramatically. Examples at 150,000 miles show battery capacity within a few percent of new specification. The combustion engine benefits from the electric motor-sharing acceleration loads. The engine never experiences the stress peaks that conventional petrol units face during hard acceleration from rest. Margaret's experience speaks directly to this reliability. I asked my son, who is a mechanic, what car I should buy. He said, if you want the one that will never let you down, buy a Toyota hybrid. 32,000 miles later, and he was right. It starts every morning. It's comfortable. It doesn't ask anything of me beyond putting fuel in it. At my age, that's exactly what I want from a car. At my age, that's exactly what I want from a car. That sentence summarizes the case for every car on this list better than any specification comparison could. The higher price point compared to the other four entries is the only caveat. The RAV4 Hybrid commands more than the other vehicles on this list because the used market has correctly identified its quality. Depreciation has been slower because buyers have recognized what it is. But at £14,000 to £19,000 for a car that sold for £35,000 to £42,000, the value case remains compelling, and the reliability advantage over everything else at the price is substantial enough to justify the additional investment for buyers whose priority is owning a car that will never surprise them. Right then, 5 dirt cheap used SUVs that nobody is buying in Britain right now, and that are perfect for senior drivers. Number 5, Ford Kuga 1.5 petrol automatic, £5,500 to £8,500. Excellent visibility, logical controls with physical buttons for key functions, smooth 8-speed automatic. Confirm the coolant system recall has been completed before purchasing. Number 4, Hyundai Tucson automatic, £6,500 to £9,500. Wide door apertures, genuine interior spaciousness, mild hybrid efficiency, and the potentially transferable 5-year manufacturer warranty that no comparable alternative at this price can offer. Number 3, Nissan Qashqai e-Power or petrol automatic, £7,500 to £11,000. Britain's most familiar SUV nameplate in its most refined generation. The e-Power variant's linear single-speed electric drive is the smoothest urban driving experience in this price range. Number 2, Suzuki Vitara Automatic, £5,000 to £7,500. Compact dimensions reducing car park and narrow road anxiety, excellent reliability data confirmed by actuarial claims evidence, and meaningfully lower insurance costs reflecting genuine mechanical dependability. Number 1, Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, £14,000 to £19,000. The most reliable SUV available at this price. 32,000 miles, 0 unscheduled repairs, every morning starting exactly as expected. If reliability and peace of mind matter above everything else, nothing on this list or at this price competes with it. the common thread across all 5. These are vehicles the mainstream market has moved past in favor of newer styling and more fashionable badges. That movement has created pricing gaps that bear no relationship to the genuine quality of the driving experience or the mechanical reliability of the cars themselves. The buyers who understand this, and this increasingly includes senior drivers who know exactly what they want from a car, are quietly acquiring some of the best value available anywhere in the UK used market right now. Drop a comment. Tell me if you own any of these 5, what your experience has been, and whether your priorities in a car match what I've described today. And tell me if there's a specific model you'd like covered in a future video, because this channel exists to find value that the mainstream market overlooks. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Right then, that's it from me today. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best car isn't always the newest or the most fashionable. Sometimes it's the one that starts every morning and never asked anything of you beyond putting fuel in it. See you next time. Cheers!